Punch Needle Portrait DIY Kit. Basic tutorial. Simple, relaxing, and heartfelt to make. These are the items you will receive in the kit. No additional tools required. You can start crafting right away. Let's first show everyone how to attach the embroidery fabric to the embroidery hoop. Loosen the screw on top of the embroidery hoop. Remove the outer hoop and set it aside first. Place the fabric in the center of the hoop. Place the outer hoop on top. On this side, there's a nut here. While slightly tightening the screw, stretch the fabric evenly on both sides. Tighten the screw a little more and stretch the fabric a bit more. Tighten the screw gradually while stretching the fabric evenly on both sides. Once the fabric is nicely stretched and tight, give the screw a final tighten. Tighten it more to make it easier for the next steps. Otherwise, the fabric will be loose and saggy. Next, take out the punch needle and the threading wire. There are two pieces of threading wires twisted together. Separate them by pulling them apart. Take one of it and fold it in half. Pull it straight like this will do. Our punch needle has a black rubber ring at the top. Take out the scissors and remove the black rubber ring from the top. This way, it won't stick out or get in the way during the crafting process. Just use the scissors to scrape off the black rubber ring from the top. Now we'll use the threading wire to thread the needle. One side has a small hole and the other side is slanted. We need to insert the wire through the side with the small hole. Push it all the way through to the bottom of the needle tube. At the bottom, open up the wire, then insert the thread into the loop of the wire. Then pull the wire out from the front. Leave about 3 to 5 centimeters of thread at the end. The thread comes out from the small hole. Use a pen or pencil to draw a shape on the fabric. For customized portrait, you can follow the reference outline printed on the fabric. Now we are ready to start crafting. You can pull the yarn a bit longer like this, so the punching process will go more smoothly. Grip the needle with the thread outside. Holding it like this will press down on the thread underneath, which can hinder the stitching. So make sure to hold like this with the thread outside of your hand. Along the line, hold the punch needle vertically and poke it all the way in. Flip to the back and pull the thread through. Leave about 3 to 5 centimeters of thread at the end. The slanted tip of the punch needle should always face the direction the yarn is going. For example, if the thread is going upward, the slanted tip should face upward too. Gently pull the punch needle out. Keep the tip of the needle close to the fabric as you move it along. Each stitch should have a spacing of around 0.5 centimeters. These small white dots represent where each stitch should go as a guide. Align the tip with a dot. Then move the slanted tip forward to the next dot. Poke the needle all the way down. Then move to the next dot and punch straight down again. As you go, keep the needle tip close to the fabric surface. This helps ensure smooth, even stitching. As you continue, just follow that same spacing. It is important to observe the same spacing to make the artwork neater and more coherent. Let's practice to more time. Let's go over a few common mistakes that beginners often make. One of the most frequent issues is the yarn coming loose. If the thread comes loose while you're working, there is a simple way to fix it. The back forms loops when you punch the needle. When the needle is about to come out from the back, press down on that loop to hold it in place. Then make the next stitch in the front. Flip it back again, and just before the needle comes out, press the loop again. You only need to hold it gently, then make the next stitch. Don't pull or stretch the loop. If you pull it long like this, it will come undone or create gaps. Eventually, you'll end up with a large area where all the loops pop out like this. This increases the difficulty and time needed to finish the piece. You'll have to trim everything down so that it sits lower than the embroidery hoop, such that when you frame the piece, it won't bulge out looking messy and unprofessional. A properly done loop should look like this. With this embroidery hoop, all you need to do is press down the loops at the back as you go. No need to pull the loops long like that. Another common problem beginners have is stitching too densely, like this. The spacing is just too tight like this. The stitching can easily become misshapen or develop dents. You can see at the front, there's already a slight dip forming. This makes the back look messy and makes it harder to insert the needle properly. The whole area ends up bulging out. Over here is a correct example. The loops are much flatter and neater. The spacing here matches what we just did according to the spacing reference chart. Other issues could be the stitches being too sparse or too long. Even if the spacing between stitches is correct, if the gaps are too large, it won't look good. In this case, each stitch is spaced much further apart than in our recommended spacing chart. This can cause the thread to come loose easily and the overall result looks poor. How do we solve the two problems we just mentioned? Let's finish the first round by stitching along the outline. The spacing should be similar to what we showed earlier. After completing this first round, the stitches should be connected end to end like this, to fix the issues of stitching being too sparse or too long. When you start the second round, you should insert the needle in the middle of the previous stitch. The needle should poke through in this open state, right between the last stitch, and stay close to it. This way, you won't accidentally expose the color of the fabric underneath. If you don't stitch close enough and leave big gaps like this, the fabric underneath will show through. In that case, we need to take it apart and use the punch needle to gently pull and reshape the stitches. This is an example of stitching too densely. Do ignore that mistake and follow the correct spacing. Finish this second round with the right spacing, staying close to the previous stitches. After finishing the second round, the third round is the same. Insert the needle between the previous stitches, staying close to them. If you need to change thread colors during the process, first cut the current thread. Flip the piece to the back, pull the thread end out a bit longer, then trim it off. Remove the punch needle from the front. Pull the old thread out and use the threading wire to thread a new piece through the needle. To continue stitching here, for example, insert the needle at this spot, keeping the thread end at the back. Then continue stitching just like before. If the empty area inside has the same color, just fill it in round by round until complete. Now, you are all ready to start your art piece. Have fun creating memories with your loved ones. Rivet, let the surprise begins.